welcome back to our Bible teaching series on 1 Corinthians. We're in chapter 7. I'm going to read 3 verses with you, verses 3, 4 and 5. It says this: Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife hath not power of her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife. Defraud you not one the other, except it be with consent for a time, that you may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. Trust God would bless his word to us. We're looking at a very serious subject, the subject of marriage. And this chapter in the Bible deals extensively with the subject. We thought last time we did a video about the sanctity of marriage. So we're continuing down that theme because that is very, very important to what the passage is about. But in particular, this passage today is teaching the responsibility that a husband has for his wife and a wife has for her husband. There are mutual responsibilities. There is mutual respect. There are desires that need to be fulfilled, and there are obligations with one to the other. You read with me, if you did have your Bible. If you don't, it would be good to stop the video, go and get your Bible, and to look at these words, because I'm not here to teach you my theory. I'm not here to teach you what a specific church teaches. I'm here really just to tell you and to try and help you as I try to look at what God says in the Bible. So it says in verse number 3, and I'm reading now from the New American Translation: the husband must fulfill his duty to his wife, and likewise also the wife to her husband. That old-fashioned word in the King James Version, due benevolence, means duty, marital duty. Now this thinking is foreign to the way the world thinks today. When you get married, you no longer are a free agent. You never were, really, because if you're a Christian, then you should be pure and keep yourself completely for the delights and the joy of sex within marriage. So you never really were in freedom to go off and do what you like, to sow wild oats, as the world would say. But you are to keep yourself pure and to keep yourself untarnished. And that's a wonderful thing when a person gets married and they've maintained their virginity and they're still pure, and they can enjoy and develop and mature and grow into that beautiful relationship in every sense, including the physical, sexual side of marriage. So it says here, let the husband render unto his wife due benevolence. That is, there is a duty, a marital duty. It's talking about the joys of sex. It's talking about sexual relationship here. Why? In the next verse, of course, it turns it round here and it says, and in the same way, likewise also the wife to her husband. And then it explains it further. It says in verse 4, the wife has not power over her own body, but the husband. Now, if you read that on its own, you'd say that was draconian, it was old-fashioned. But listen, read the whole verse. The wife has not power over her own body, but the husband. Likewise also the husband has not power over his own body, but the wife. Now this is foreign to the way the world thinks. You own your wife owns you. Oh, I use that word very guardedly. Your wife's body belongs to you for you to delight and enjoy, but to care and to love and to cherish. You'll get that in the remainder of this passage. You get in Ephesians chapter 5. The wife, she owns her husband's body to enjoy it, to delight, but also to care for and to be courteous and to be kind. This is not the dominance of a husband, but this is the mutual enjoyment of a wife of her husband and a husband of his wife. Let me read it again. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. And likewise also the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does. This is talking about the intimacies and joys of married life. It's not talking about the responsibilities in a family and who takes the lead and who has the leading role and who's answerable. This is talking about the intimacies and the privacy and the uniqueness of two people together in that beautiful relationship of husband and wife, and God has given the joys of all those physical delights in that relationship. Then there's a warning in verse 5. Defraud you not one the other, except it be with consent for a time. In other words, what it's saying is don't deprive each other of your sexual activity, of the delights of sleeping with each other. Don't deprive one the other except by agreement. So don't use it as a trump card. Don't use it as victimization. Don't use it to get your own way. Don't be selfish. It says don't deprive each other except by agreement, number one, and for a limited period, number two, and to devote yourself to prayer. So, really, husbands and wives should enjoy the intimacy of marriage on a regular basis. The only reason that should stop is they both agree to it, and they agree for a specific period of time, so it's not unending, and they agree for a specific activity, a spiritual activity, that they can devote themselves to prayer. And then the advice is to come back and to enjoy the sexual activities of marriage, come together again, so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. He's saying there's the potential that you cannot control your sexual urges because you have those drives. They're natural, they're normal, they should be expressed within marriage. So do not deprive each other unless you agree for a specific period, for a specific spiritual purpose. And when the time is over, come back together, enjoy the delights of marriage, because really Satan will use your weakness and your desires to get the better of you. He'll tempt you because you have not the ability to control yourself in the long term without the joys and delights of marriage and of sex within marriage. So that's the second stage of 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Very nitty-gritty stuff, but very true, very honest, very appropriate. And as we work our way through this chapter, we will find that God is bang up to date and deals with the issues of everyday life. And he deals with them in ways that are good for our marriages, good for our families, good for our society. May God bless you.